And so let's do something related now. Go to the next page that is showing the industry and a firm in perfect competition. So notice perfectly competitive industry, industry firm. And again, if you blank, go to the part of the final that has the industry and the firm. Because you're going to have these four. But what might these be? You recall? Yeah, they might be scrambled. So they're not necessarily going to be in this order. They may not. But know that I'm going to have drawn for you the industry in perfect competition and the firm. So you know where to start. So where to start would be PQ, supply demand. There's the price over which the individual firm has no control. And they have to, what do they have to do with the price? What's that phrase? The word? They're price takers, so they have to take this price. And this price is also their marginal revenue. It's also the demand curve. And again, if you're at all uncertain about how to draw them, starting off in a normal profit, here it is. Minimum point of ATC touching the demand curve, and then marginal cost coming up through the minimum point there at an angle. So point of intersection is right here, where marginal revenue, marginal costs are meeting. And then remember also, this is showing revenue, P times Q, but it's also showing costs, Q times ATC. So we need to put a C1 over there to show they're starting off all making a normal profit. So what I'm going to write here for this condition right here, it says to trace graphically and describe in writing, is this market, I mean, something to this effect. This market starts in long run equilibrium with all firms, what? Yeah, all firms earning a normal profit. Now, here, we have an increase in demand in the industry. And now we have a new price, which the firm has to take. To draw that, see what you see there. See if you can identify if there's a profit or loss. See if you can show that area of profit or loss. You're gonna have a new C2 or a new cost level. Your intersection point, see if you can draw where the profit is, given that. I'm gonna give you a second, look at back at previous notes, if you're lost, see if you can determine this one on your own. Long run equilibrium is where. Well, I mean, it's what we showed when we did this in the beginning, but it is,
It's like it's normal profit, right?
it's normal profit. Long run equilibrium is normal profit, and we always return there, is the point. So we start with it, and then we're gonna end with it.
Okay, so you're not talking about start as in like the market when it was first made, just on this graph.
On this graph, let's start off in long run equilibrium, which is,
And that's what we call normal profit.
Exactly. right, because it always comes back to that. Because we got lots of competitors here. When there's a profit, people are gonna come in. When there's a loss, people are gonna leave. And so note, here's the key here, where that quantity decision hits ATC right there. We come across and mark C2. So note here, Q2 times P2. Notice this is our revenue. Q2 to ATC to C2 is our cost. Therefore, all of this right here, this rectangle, is an economic profit. So where the quantity hit ATC, that's our next cost level. Right here, where our quantity hit ATC was our first cost level, C1. And so to this, we say, when demand, and something to this effect, when demand in the industry increased, the price increased, creating economic profit. For all firms. Why all firms? The theory is they all have the same information. Therefore, they have the same costs. They use the same methods. There's no secrets in farming, mining, or drilling, is the assumption. Might there be with some crop or certain kind of drilling? Maybe, but our theory in this market is that there's available information for everybody, the same cost. They're all making a profit. So you're in walnuts, and then you see your neighbor who's in pecans now has an RV and a boat. What are you gonna do? Plant pecans. So if you plant pecans, notice if some people plant pecans and the price goes down just a little bit, there's still gonna be an economic profit. But there's gonna be an incentive to join all the way until we get back to that first price. Because all the way up here, as people join, there's still economic profits to be had. And that's the incentive for people to join until you return back down to that initial long run equilibrium spot. So here's our point for our new supply curve. And so now we need to come through and put comma 3 in these places where we had 1, because we've returned back to long run equilibrium. Recall that I did this when I first explained it. Notice that increase in demand is what moved us right up there with that higher price and economic profits. And as economic profits cause new firms to join, to cause that price to go back down to where every firm is just making a normal profit. We're back to long run equilibrium. Yeah.
So for cost how is that?
Determined. So it's where the new marginal revenue, new marginal cost meet that we get our quantity. And where that quantity hits ATC is our price, is our cost level right there. So it's where this quantity intersects ATC. Notice here, our quantity intersects ATC at that minimum point. So we have the C1. that make sense, Sebastian?
Yeah.
Okay. And so if we had a different one, let's say we had a price up here. Then there would be our C right there, along our y-axis. Good. And so lastly, all we say here is, economic profits. In cents. Firms. Join the industry. So that supply. Increases. And decreases the price. Back. To, I'm gonna abbreviate long run equilibrium. And normal profits for all. Something similar to that, just having those components. And note that this question cross pollinates or is similar to. This question here, number 5, right? Here, there's profits, economic profits causing market supply to increase and the price decrease, right? That's related, those things are related there. So if you're a little lost here, maybe coming over here. Might help you remember that mechanism. So let's continue on this, turn the page and let's do starting off in long run equilibrium and then the price decreasing due to less demand. So I'll leave this up here for anybody to finish copying, turn to the next page. Long run. The way I have it is, this is the next page with a decrease in market demand.
So, yeah, I think I it's like separated, so that.
Yeah, as long as you look for the one that says decrease.
Okay.
Anybody still copying this? No? No, okay. So again here, remember, you've got it. Somewhere in the file, it's gonna show you, again, long run equilibrium. And demand decreases. And so there's a lower price. As I was saying earlier, if there are 2 points of quality here, we always go to the larger quantity, so it'll be right there. Notice here, this one, here's our quantity, but you're gonna have to take it up to the ATC curve to determine your new cost level. So there's the intersection between MR and MC for the new marginal revenue, the old marginal cost. So note here, you're gonna need to go down and all the way up to ATC. It's ATC, that's gonna be our C2. Make sense, Sebastian? Given your previous question,
Yes,
right?
I guess in this case.
Now. Yeah, because notice Q2 times P2, there's their revenue. Q2, C2, they're their costs. So their losses, see if you can see their loss. Here are their costs. Here's their revenue. So they can cover this part of their costs, but all of this they cannot cover here. How many firms are dealing with this? All of them. Some of them have a good relationship with the bank and a line of credit to kind of work through this. Some of them are conservative fiscally, so they have money saved because they know how ag or drilling or mining go. Prices are fluctuating all the time. But some don't have that relationship with the bank or haven't kept enough money around. And so this is going to force what? Yeah, it's going to force people to leave the market. There's going to be an incentive to leave the market all the way until the price returns back to that normal profit level. So we come back to this point here. That would be our Q3, and then we need to come through everywhere there was a 1 there, do a comma 3 to show we've moved back to that level. Again, this shift in here relates to this shift down there. Right, demand went in, the price went down, every firm had to take that new price. Now they're all enduring economic losses. That's gonna cause firms to leave the industry all the way until the price goes back up. And all firms are, yeah, back to normal profit or back to long run equilibrium. We're gonna say something very similar in structure to what we said for the first question. So all firms start making a normal profit. Then demand increases in the industry. Increasing. What's that? My bad, thank you. Man, decreases in the industry, decreasing the price. Thank you, Sebastian. Causing all firms to endure. Economic losses. And you can use whatever verb you want there. I mean, that makes sense. And economic losses will cause some firms to leave. Industry. until the price returns to long run equilibrium. Guess I'm doing E or I or A, depending how I feel. Earning only a normal profit. One thing is key here, where do I say this? Assuming constant costs. That over the long run, their costs aren't changing. If I was a really evil teacher, I could say, assuming costs go up over time, and we're not gonna even touch that, right? Notice their costs are staying the same. If you are majoring in economics, that's what I want to bring up there. Those last 8-10 minutes. Let's go to the last page to now look at how I'm gonna ask you some questions around perfect competition in the 4 graphs. I'll leave that up for everybody, but look at 3, 4. Let's see if you can do 1 through 4, but focus first on 3 and 4. Last page being the 4 graphs. So cool if I take that down, everybody got it?